Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to EA Tetragrammaton, where we are playing This is turn 105. Let's jump to things. I put my password in. I put my password. Alright. A little bit of stuff going on. Not really. Still in that preparation phase. Let's see what's happening, shall we? One of our liches has successfully powered himself in death. Our specs, nothing. Awe specs, nothing. Summoned more Kusarikus. Augury found nothing. Dark Knowledge found nothing. We did a Gift of Reason on a Tart. More Voice of Apsu. Found nothing, nothing. Another Lichcraft. We cast King of Elemental Fire twice. Got Ruax and got Pyroflogos. Fuck yes. That is good. That is real good for us. We are very happy about that. That gives us access to two very strong Flames from the Sky casters and just powerful utilization, period. But that's very, very good for us. Very nice in the long run. We got Harspecs, found nothing. We did an Opkalu. So we've got 4 Opkalus now. And we started summoning our first Ugalus. So that's very good. It's been a long time trying to get to that point. That was one of our focuses early in the early game, and we couldn't quite get there because we got to that scenario where we just didn't have the air income initially. And then by the time we did have the air income, we already had some alternatives in the communions that we were utilizing. So it wasn't as pressing an issue. And then Astral Corruption came up, so we couldn't put things to use there. But now all of those things are kind of like over and said and done with. We have the income, we have the ability, etc. So we're gonna get a couple of Ugalus all over our empire. It can be very useful for us. More Augury, found nothing. More Harspecs, found nothing. And Auspecs found another Cave of Clouds, so another +1 air gem over here. Good. Got some more Blood Slaves in Kailasa, Kunaral, and Tessipon. Great. Nature Gems in Agartha. Lost income in Scrawl Point. Got some more Blood Slaves in Flower Metal Forest. I got some Sloth in Alluvia. Deadly diseases continue to rage. We discovered some false prophets. Cool. And our scout was found out in Rafabola. That's here. The southwest of... I think I'm just gonna try to not get that guy caught. Well, I say that, but next turn is kind of a plan to start orbital bombardments anyways, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's cool. Patrolling troops did stuff. Great. What are we doing? What's the plan? It's early winter. We have this turn. So we have this turn, midwinter, late winter, and then spring. So we got 4 turns before our god kicks back on. I don't really care about that too terribly much, right? Our god is not very useful to us at the moment. The bless that he provides is nice, but not one that is insurmountable for us, or required at this late state. And truth be told, it's pretty unlikely that he survives the first turn that he comes back on. So we're not going to worry about that too terribly much. What we are going to worry about is next turn, we get Evocation 9. Next turn, we get Flames from the Sky. Flames from the Sky is going to allow us to do some heavy lifting against different groups. Tidal Wave is also another option, but Tidal Wave is... what's the word that I'm looking for? Tidal Wave, Flames from the Sky destroys people. Tidal Wave destroys places. And we're at that point in the game where we don't really care about destroying places, right? I've talked about this in other games where I don't like it when people do things that are like destroying infrastructure or pillaging places or destroying the land, right? I'm not a big fan of those types of spells or abilities because I'm one of my mentality, and this is just this is just a thing. I'm not saying that those things are bad. It's just I'm one of those, like, I love to paint the map in a color, right? I wanna conquer the world, but I want my world to be super awesome, right? So like destroying my enemies, yes. Destroying my enemies' lands, no, because I want those lands to be my lands. That doesn't make sense in an actual, like, trying to win the game battle, but it's the way I like to play. So typically I don't like things like Tidal Wave, but at the end of the game, right, trying to finish things out, it's kind of like, I might just end up doing it anyways. There's also Celestial Rainbow, which I don't think we have any way of actually getting to. Water 7, Nature 5 is just not going to happen. I say there's no way we could get to it. We absolutely could, but huge amounts of golds can easily be collected at the base of the rainbow. While the rainbow is in place, luck will increase in all the caster's provinces. Once the luck is positive in a province, the luck of the rainbow will protect it from hostile spells. The more luck in a province, the greater the chance of hostile spells failing. This is actually a really, really cool global that I never see go up. I never see it go up. Almost to the point to where I'm interested in maybe one day playing a game specifically just to try to get Celestial, because I never see it go up. Anyways, we get, from Evocation 9, we get Flames from the Sky, which is going to be super important. Firestorm is somewhat useful for us, but really it's Flames from the Sky. Chain Lightning's also actually pretty dope. Our Ugalus can cast this, and other people can, like, communions, right? Our air communions can cast this, and it's actually kind of cool. So it does a lot of bounce damage. The only problem is that it doesn't give a shit if you have almost any lightning resistance, which at this point in the game you should, right? It's not going to do anything. Anyways, I'm talking about random inane stuff. The whole goal right now is to get to the next turn, and then start to fierily bombard the shit out of places like Rafabolia, Realm of Silence, and White Forest. Okay? Maybe a little bit of bombardment over here at Gibernia or something like that. We're basically just we're going to have a caster here in Kailasa. We're going to have a caster here in Pangaea. And we're probably going to have a caster in We might try to position a caster in Trackless Waste as well, but that's going to have to be like a flame spirit, unless we run into like a nice tart for the job. Currently, we have a Tartarian Titan here that has Fire 3, which we could utilize, but at that point, we might as well just use a flame spirit. So, at this point, we're going to try to not spend a lot of fire gems. Accepting that this turn we are trying to cast another King of Elemental Fire. We're going to go for the final King and see if that works. We've got oh god, I'm super glad I read this. Since the fall of Catharsis, there are only 2, and Catharsis is, we need to stop that. Catharsis is no longer a, what's this called? That's Anthrax now, right? Can we cast that? Where is that? King of Banefires. That's who that is. Right here. Yeah, it used to be known as Catharsis. So, yeah, and his name is Anthrax now. So that's Fire 4, Death 3. Do we have a way to get that? So this is Fire 3. So, I think the only way we're going to be able to arrange that is we're going to have to get lucky with a Tartarian. We're going to have to get a Tartarian that has Death and Fire, and then we're just going to have to booster them. I'm really glad that I noticed that, though. So that's unfortunate. What that means is that unless we can get lucky with a tart, or luck into a tart that can get Anthrax, then we only have 2 out of the gate Fire 5s. So we're going to have to rely on Flame Spirits and boosters. Right now we have a booster for 2 Flame Spirits to go up to 4, but we only have 1 to go up to 5, aside from, I guess, the Robe of the Magi. So we can use those. Sorry. You're fine. We can use those to booster, I guess, if we need to. So that does give us 4 casters. So we want a Flames from the Sky caster in Pangaea, in Kailasa, in and then in Trackless Wastes. Okay. Flames from the Sky costs 30 fire gems, and we're getting 26 per turn. Okay. I need to check this real quick. We still cast Augury. And I think we're gonna, bear with me real quick, I think I'm gonna put a bunch of Augury casts out. I talked about this previously, but I'm pretty sure that there's still, like, fire available in the lands that we have taken. And we really don't care about our research at the moment, so we're gonna throw out as many auguries as we can, because if we can get over that 30 mark, right, that will be really good for us. Plus, we have a little bit of a pool. All right, so that should be mostly. Oh, we've got another one over here. Augury. Another one over here. He's already casting on. Cool. All right, great. So that's taken care of. So the plan there is to get over 30 fire gems. That would be nice. Then we have basically a Flames from the Sky cast every single turn. Next turn, and this is the current plan. We might not go exactly for this, but next turn the concept is to launch fires from the sky at Rafabolia and start to march from Kailasa. Launch fires from the sky at White Forest and start to march from Pangaea. We are probably going to wait an additional turn before we launch fires from the sky at Sleepy Wolds, and then we're going to march on Sleepy Wolds. So that's the current plan. Hopefully that's going to do good for us. The reason why I have to wait a turn is because I'm out of gems, right? I'm out of nature gems. I'm out of astral gems. I need nature gems. I need astral gems. I need earth gems, right? Water we're doing fine on. Air we're still doing fine on. Those are very, very vital to us. But as I've said, I've been kind of like leading up to this whole thing, right? We're gonna start the attacks, and we're gonna hopefully be victorious, and that'll be great. But we're still trying to take all of the precautions that we can to make sure that ultimately this whole we're continuing to build our base, right? We're continuing to look forward to the future, because this game could be over in 10 turns, or it could still be going in another 30 or 40, right? And if we just throw everything, throw caution to the wind, throw everything that we have, and we lose, right? Then that's just going to put us into a shitty position where we can't do anything from there. So, what are we doing in that vein? What are the plans? We've got Elder 47 dropping into Faraway Sea. That's really relatively inconsequential. We've got Earth Enkidu Shaman 31 heading to Kailasa to reinforce there. We can see Kailasa is pretty good to go. We've got over 350 units here. We've got some injuries that we're still healing from. That's fine. We've got a lot going on here. A very strong location. In Pangaea, it's slightly different story. We've got 225 units here, with another 40 in carry-on that we can reinforce with, right? But which actually, do I need to move them this turn? I think just about everything can just travel on its own. So if we take, so ahead these units, basically actual units, these guys, they don't have high map move, but our people have high map moves. So we're going to go ahead and move them into Pangaea. So this is not much, right? 225 plus 40 isn't even going to get us to 300, and 300 was kind of the goal. So I'm actually considering doing this real quick. Probably a bad idea, but I'm considering doing it. And that is to march NC-14 westward towards Wick Forest. NC-14 taking another 100 units. Right, Hall Woods, that means Hall Woods is going to be understaffed without an NC, right? But I think we're okay to do that right now for a number of different reasons. We'll talk about that here in just a second. We can see we're converging a lot of stuff into Pangaea because Pan is kind of the weak link, I feel. Partially, one, because it's undermanned, but also because it's got a lot of wounded people, right? Now, the longer we sit in our gift of health, the more that these wounds are gotten rid of. However, there's a lot to get rid of. There's a lot to fix there. You might have seen this also. We have a High Priest of the Sun. We are Gift of Reasoning him this turn. We've got a Tart 3 coming in. Tart 3 is a Fire 2, Water 3. Potentially we can do stuff like Acid Storms or something like that. So we might actually look at that. Because he's got, when I say he, I mean, has units that have very good armor. Whereas our units they have armor, but they're less good. And we're going to be using things like, use things like, Army of Gold, Army of Lead, anyways, right? So we've got less of a concern there. Most of our protection is going to come from that rather than our armor, and obviously he might be doing that as well, but it's possible that an Acid Storm could be useful. So we'll see how that goes. We've got Elder 49 over here, hopefully going to be getting diseases and grinding them for additional death gems, because why not? We might as well put that to use, in theory. We've got we're continuing, you might notice as we flip around, we're continuing to do some water bracelet forging, but we're pretty much done with that. I think we've got just about all, maybe like one or two Ishibs that don't have those anymore, and a lot of our Dwarven Hammers are being used elsewhere this turn. We'll talk about that here in just a second. We've got another Enkidu Shaman heading over to Trackless Wastes to reinforce. Continuing to consolidate in and then I think now is the time where we can just talk about all the stuff that's going on in we're kind of kicking our death scenario into overdrive on this turn, right? We're getting really close. We've got Lich 3, and I've renamed everyone because it was a pain in the ass to keep track of them with actual names. So all our Tarts, our Liches, our Apkalus have all been renamed, etc. So we've got Lich 3 is going to be empowering, and then next turn there'll be Death 6, and they'll have a Skull Staff, and they'll be able to do Tartarians with Lich 2 every turn. Great. We're not going to rely on Leper Love, Lich 1, because Leper Love is probably going to die eventually because of his horror mark. So, Lich 1 is going to continue to do Lichcraft to produce more Liches, and so is Lich 4. So we're going to start producing more and more Liches every single turn. Now, we do have the option of doing Wraith Lords as well. We might mix in a Wraith Lord here or there, but I tend to prefer Liches because I think they make slightly better raiders in general than Wraith Lords do. Wraith Lords have high protection, but Liches can do more Horde of Skeleton spam. Wraith Lords are better at facing off against other thugs. But yeah, anyways, that's the kind of situation. We're gonna do more Liches. We might swap over to Wraith Lords here after a while. We'll see how it goes. So we're gonna probably continue to do 2 Liches and 2 Tarts every single turn for a while, probably until we get down to like 300 or so gems. We'll see. But that's gonna produce a lot of power for us, a lot of thugs, a lot of potential super combatants, a lot of potential good options for new paths or paths that we don't have great access to consistently. Potentially getting us into really high air, potentially getting us into really high fire. I guess we're pretty high into fire now, but getting us some interesting cross paths like fire death that we don't have, right? Could be a really good thing. A couple of other cross paths as well. So fingers crossed, we're going to see how that goes. I think 2 tarts per turn is about where we want to be. We've got these 2 shamans here that can do Gift of Reason every single turn. So that should be easy. We are having our Apkalus all across the board, right? Forge various pieces of gear. So we've got a crystal coin over here. We've got a crystal coin being forged over here, right? And that's so that those 2 Apkalus can be a starting Astral 6. As soon as they pop into a communion, they're going to be Astral 9. They only need Astral 8 for Master and Slave, so that should be good. So they're going to do communion, Master and Slave. Boom. And that's going to be pretty much it. We are sending over this Apkalu as well to Pangaea. They'll be doing the same thing, Apkalu 4. And next turn, we'll probably just take this Apkalu's Starshine Skullcap and Crystal Coin and put them on Apkalu 4. And we're making another Starshine Skullcap this turn. That'll go right back on this Apkalu, and then we'll forge another Crystal Coin so that they have them. And then ultimately the goal will be to get back up to be able to summon another Apkalu, but we're just going to have to see how it goes. We might have the time. We might have to head for Sleepy Wolves before we can do that, etc., etc. We'll just have to see, okay? More Dwarven Hammers, more Auguries, etc. But the big thing this turn is the Gift of Nature's Bounty. So we're putting about 120 nature gems into this. We have a global slot open. It's possible that someone else tries to put another global slot up. If someone else puts another global slot up, and we have to fight against it, we might, if we hit our own Mother Oak, we will beat our own Mother Oak. If we hit Gift of Health or Well of Misery, we will not. If we hit Maelstrom, we will beat it. So I don't know about Eyes of God. I don't know about Arcane Nexus. In theory, hopefully, what we're going to have is just no one else putting up anything, and we'll have a Gift of Nature's Bounty. That'll be good. And that's most of the moves that we are making this turn. Of note, if we take a look, it looks like Hinam is winning against Lanka. It looks like slowly but surely Hinam is pushing Lanka back. That's a pretty big deal. 2 point of fact. I wanted to do this turn. I don't have much in the way of scouts at the moment. So I wanted to do some scout production across our empire so that we can get more scouts into areas and get a better idea of what's going on. If we're successful in getting Gift of Nature's Bounty up, we're gonna have an epic shit ton of money. And that's the hope, right? The hope is that, well, the real hope is that the armies of Pangaea, Kailasa, and just win, and we take the 3 thrones that we need to win. Simple as that. Done, right? That's the real hope. I don't anticipate... we might be successful in 1 or 2 places. right? But I don't anticipate that we're going to be successful in all of the places. So if we're not successful in all of the places, we're going to have to rebuild armies, move to capture new locations, etc. And that's where the Gift of Nature's Bounty really comes in. Being able to, because at this point our income has gotten, or our upkeep has gotten really high. We only got 2,800 gold this turn. And that's still a lot of gold, but at this point in the game, that's not a crazy amount. So we can't produce everywhere. We haven't been able to produce everywhere for the last few turns. A Gift of Nature's Bounty is going to allow us to do that, which is a big thing. That means rapidly rebuilding our armies, rapidly rebuilding our mage cores, and while that is happening, if we are also able to pump out more Tartarians, more Liches, more Vampire Lords, etc., then that's going to really prove to be a boon, and our forging economy comes back online. So the theory there is that all of these things are going to build up to where hopefully we win in a couple places, hopefully we win in every place. But when we don't, putting together the response is hopefully not going to take that long, in theory. And that's it. I think that's the turn. We've got a lot going on, but this turn itself is relatively passive. The next couple turns, orbital bombardments begin. Movement begins. We're going to be moving more and more. We're going to be moving away from the kind of like developing water bracelets and things like that, and more into the developing sets of gear for our tarts. We got one gear here, by the way, or one tart here, tart 5. This Fire Astral Blood one. It's got a Firebrand, Divine Shield, Horned Helmet, Armor of Knights, Boots of the Messenger, Ring of Regeneration, which, by the way, I'm not sure that this works on a Tartarian Titan who's undead. I assumed that it wouldn't, but I accidentally put it on here, and it shows the regeneration buff. So I don't know. So I'm going to leave the ring on here and kind of test and see if this does work. And then we have a Storm Spool because he has good resistances and everything except for shock. So I don't want him to just be able to get shocked down, basically. So we're going to send this out. This is going to be another option heading over to Kailasa, I believe. And it just should be interesting. Tart 4, by the way, this is like turn 2 or 3 where they're just completely useless because of Shattered Soul. So that's unfortunate. Oh, also, our next tart is another Tartarian Cyclops. So that should be cool. That's it for the turn. Another passive turn, but we've got some really exciting stuff on the board. I'm really getting back into this game. Really interested to see how it goes. It might be that Hinnom is just in the prime position because they've got their Gregories up, and it looks like they're slowly but surely throwing Lanka back. So maybe in the long run, we end up breaking ourselves on Hinnom, and I've underestimated it before. Arcane Nexus just comes to the fore, and Hinnom just beats us in the initial charge and throws back Lanka, throws us back, and eventually wins. I could see that happening. That would be pretty fucking baller. But we'll have to see how it goes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.